We're back! We're back making videos, we're back in the gym, we're back training, we're back with new ideas. I know I said I had new ideas and new videos last time. Sorry, I've been working a lot on this. So, this, this new series of content is regards to teaching practices and drilling practices and learning practices of Jiu-Jitsu. That's been my main focus over the past however long. This first video is on the idea of Orthodox and southpaw Jiu-Jitsu. So when we first start training, we try and be good, symmetrical little humans, and we drill both sides. We do arm bars both sides, we do guillotines or whatever on both sides. But that's not how our body works. We have I'm only going to refer to this temporarily, a dominant side and a recessive side. So you might be right-handed, which is your dominant hand, and your left-handed is your recessive side. And over time you start to develop a dominant game in Jiu-Jitsu. So when you play, if I was to ask Naki to get into side control, he put his legs down here, his head up here, and this would be side control. And if I'm going to show any Jiu-Jitsu, that is how I'd hold side control, and everything would be done this way. Same as if I was to hold half guard, it'd be my right leg down. And that's just how we do Jiu-Jitsu. We develop a preferred style. We lean in on that style eventually. Sometimes in rolling though, you get put onto your recessive side. So you'll be put onto the wrong side of side control, the wrong side of half guard. And what we try and sometimes do is replicate our dominant game on the recessive side. Except that's not how our body works. We have a more dexterous hand, and a hand that's better at manual tasks. And this is an interesting thing said by one of the blue belts who trains here, is a tattooist. He said that you ever try and write with just your one hand, you will fail. So you don't have necessarily a dominant hand, you have a more dexterous hand that's going to be good at the fine penmanship, but you need your other hand to hold the paper. If you try and do it one-handed, it'll just fall apart and look terrible. And that's the same with most things, like when you use a knife and fork, like you can't do it without using both hands, but one is better at dexterous jobs, one is better at manual jobs. And that's then replicating how we do Jiu-Jitsu. So say if I go back to that orthodox side control, that normal looking side control, my left hand is going to be holding head and arm, a more manual task. My right arm is going to be better at doing the dexterous jobs of hunting for darces, hunting for arm bars, etc. But then you put me on the other side, and now my right hand would be holding head and arm, and my left hand is going to be doing the more dexterous jobs, and that's backwards. And everything's just going to be slightly off, the timing's going to be off, the effectiveness is going to be off. Not to say that it's not possible, but it's just going to be a bit more weird. I do still hit arm bars and darces on the recessive side, but it's more luck than skill. But what if we look at side control and half guard and all these different positions as two different positions, an orthodox game and a southpaw game. So all of a sudden, it's imagine like you've been colouring in a page in a colouring book for 13 years, for example, and you spent all this time doing really fine penmanship and working on it, and all of a sudden you realise there's a crease in the page, you've opened it and you've missed half the page. That's currently what I feel about Jiu-Jitsu, is I've spent 13 years colouring in to find that I've missed half the page. And so it's causing a bit of an existential crisis right now, which is half good, half bad, because all of a sudden I've realised that I don't know anywhere near enough about this game, but I have so much more to learn, which is cool. So I'm kind of excited. But now I'm looking at the way I train and how I hold positions. All of a sudden, going back to that side control, I'm now, instead of just holding a terrible mirror image of my orthodox game on my southpaw side, I'm now holding the hips of my left arm instead of using my right arm to get head and arm control. And instead of hunting for arm bars and darces, I'm now hunting for guillotines and north-south chokes. I'm becoming very successful with them. So it now makes me think, how many techniques over the years have I abandoned because I've tried to do what should be a southpaw technique on my orthodox side. For example, if I was to do, like here, if Naki was to hold side control on this side, and I try and dogfight, I'm trying to use my non-dexterous hand, and he's using his dexterous hand, and I get darsed, and all these kind of horrible things happen to me. And I abandoned the dogfight technique. But doing it on the other side, I'm now fighting with my dominant arm, and he's using his recessive, less dexterous arm to try and get the darts, and I can now use this defense. I'm now getting up out of side control a lot more effectively on that side with that technique. Same as when I talk about the north-south choke. For years I couldn't hit it because I was trying to set it up on my orthodox side control, orthodox north-south, using my left arm. And that's just not strong. It's not good for guillotining style techniques. But it works better on the other side. So going to southpaw, I now hit a lot more mounted guillotines and north-south chokes. And so it's the same with half guard. If I try and come up and dogfight, same kind of way in the orthodox half guard, it's terrible. On my southpaw half guard, it's awesome. And we were talking about, I was playing specifically southpaw half guard against you the other day, and it was frustrating.
It was frustrating because obviously I'm working on loose passing at the moment, and I want to pass that way, and you'd fall. I was like, no, I thought it's going to be easy, and then it's like, nah, grabbing me here, but it's not. It's worth definitely like experimenting. Because your game, like you do different things, rather than trying, like Chris is saying, try not to do the same thing on both sides, because there's a whole different world on the other side.
Exactly.
To explore.
Exactly. I mean, I've now discovered that I smash pass better to my right hand side, and I speed pass better to my left hand side, which works for my body type. So yeah, I pass better with my right arm for smash passing, and for all these years I was trying to smash pass to my left, but I was using the wrong arm to do it, and I started to naturally gravitate over time to that more dexterous arm, and I was getting more success. So even without thinking about it, that's where my body preferred to have now two different directions of passing. And so you can use this in an interesting way, because you can now generate a good southpaw game that actually leans in on how your body is supposed to work on that side. So instead of having a terrible mirror image of your orthodox side, you now have a completely different southpaw game that leans in on how your body works. And if people don't look at that way of training, they will try and do that terrible mirror image style of their orthodox game, and they'll just be slow, and you automatically now get a timing and efficiency advantage over them. I find this really interesting style of training and investigation, as it were. Such as, like you said, when it comes to half guard and delihiva, you know, when we hold delihiva, for example, my left leg is doing the manual holding work, and so is my left arm. Yet my right leg is a lot more active, and so is my right hand. But if I try and do it the other way around,
oh, if you're the passer and you fuck with people.
Oh, it's off. It's just off. Because I'm now trying to use my dexterous side to hold on the southpaw side, and my left leg's trying to do the job. And so just by Naki approaching my guard that way with the left leg forwards, completely messes with me. So I can't now play delihiva on that side. I have to look at how my body works differently, and how I can use my right dexterous side to attack him more efficiently when he tries to pass. And so playing quite a loose half guard, seated guard, works better on that side for me. I'm not saying that that is the same for everyone. And this is, every time I've taught this, seminars and classes, etc., people come up to me and say, it's really interesting that they hold their techniques this way, or they hit the darts actually on their southpaw side. And I'm saying that's good, but know that you do that. Now try and figure out how your body works on the other side that complements it. And yeah, it's a whole other branch of Jiu-Jitsu that now needs investigating. Some things you will be able to do both sides, like I hit heel hooks, inside heel hooks, quite effectively on both sides. Yet my outside heel hook and my ankle locks only work under my right arm, which now makes me think I need to find a better way of transferring to my right arm to finish those techniques.
Yeah, 100% agree. Leg locks is a prime one. Like, you'll see a lot of people always attacking the other person's right leg. But the moment you try and switch it to the left, a lot of people have got no idea of defense. They'll be used to defending that one leg, but you attack the other leg and they're like, oh, it changes the game a bit.
Exactly. Or you're trying to hit an ankle lock with your left arm, for example. It'll be off and you won't win it. And you may be trying to do it under your left arm, yet your foot is still under their right arm. And so all of a sudden, you're at a natural disadvantage. Like in this dogfight, one-on-one position, they're going to win because they're using their dominant arm to finish the technique. I think we could probably even do a series just on all these different ideas and different setups for everything. But I'd be curious to know what you think, so please investigate this idea, or even feedback, stuff that you've kind of noticed about your body, and like think, well, actually, what do I do on this side? Do I do something different? Or are there techniques that I've abandoned, which I can now actually use better on a different side? It was interesting because, but before we had the defensive postures, etc., I was trying to shrimp on my southpaw side if someone's holding side control on this side of me. But that's shrimping with my less dexterous side, and it always failed. So I always came up to dogfight. And so I was like, huh, interesting. But it sucked the other way. And the real kicker now is, so we have these defensive postures. Obviously, if you follow this channel, you know us and what we do from that preach shit. It's now made me curious how my body works with those defensive postures in a dominant recessive way. Like, I actually have a preferred Hawkins.
Yeah, you do.
You're left ear down.
Yeah. And you're running on one side more than the other.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Well, I feel kind of comfortable running around both sides.
Yeah.
Hawkins is very specific.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I'm now thinking, right, how do I use my body in the defensive postures to actually work better and more efficiently? Mm-hmm. And were there points where I was trying to force the wrong defensive posture into a southpaw stance that shouldn't have been there, and I was getting stuck? This is the problem. Mm-hmm. I've limited my defensive ability in this whole defensive posture system, this preach shit. I've limited it by not understanding this idea of southpaw and orthodox.
What are we looking at?
Man, we've got a lot of work to do. And this is like, yes, an infuriating video for me because I've opened myself up now to say I suck, and so I've got so much more work to do. But please, feedback on this. Come on the Discord channel. That's over 100 members now. It's really interesting. I'm now going to be streaming classes. My Thursday class here is 6 PM British time, so that's either GMT or British Summer Time, depending on the time of year. It'll be via Zoom, or if that gets too busy, it'll be via YouTube streaming. It'll be my main class in this room. If you want to jump in for free, jump in, message me some way, and I'll add you on the list. Send you the invites, and you can take part in our classes. And if there's not enough people, if there's not too many people, should I say, I will actually come around and I'll watch those classes as well. And if people are drilling all right and have got questions, then that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Jim's getting busy. We tried the other day. It worked really well for our friends in Switzerland. Let's get it bigger. But yes, thank you for coming back. Thank you for still being interested in these videos. Thank you for being interested in what we do. Till next time, there'll be even more jiu-jitsu. So thank you.
Voila.